I never would have expected choosing a paint color to be so difficult, and I've probably spent more time doing color swatches than it would have taken me to actually just paint the kitchen cabinets. So I need to make a decision now. I think that that's what I'm gonna go with. And I mean, worst case scenario, I don't like it and it's not forever. This week is really exciting because I'm gonna be getting started on the kitchen. If you remember when I first bought this house, I had some accordion style doors over the pantry that I ripped off immediately because they were really gross. So I've been living without any pantry doors for a while, and then I'm also missing a door on the cabinet under the sink. But what I'm gonna do is just put a little cafe curtain there to cover it up. And I actually found some pantry doors at Habitat for Humanity for only $15 each. And I think that they're gonna fit perfectly. Crap, these are an inch too short. I thought the 80 was the standard and I didn't even measure the height. All right, I gotta go find some new ones. In the meantime, I went ahead and got started removing all of the doors and hardware to the cabinets. Every professional cabinet refinisher I've ever talked to has always emphasized the importance of labeling all of your hardware so that you know exactly where it goes. I even went as far as to label each hinge based on whether it went on the bottom or top of the cabinet door. And this ends up paying off later on when I go to reassemble the cabinets. So I highly recommend not skipping this step. It's always easier to do a better job with your prep work and then save yourself the headache later on. In my opinion, the same goes for removing all the hardware and hinges on the doors. It's just going to make it so much easier to paint by actually taking the door off of the hinges than trying to paint around the hinges. So I forgot to show it here, but I actually took the little piece of painter's tape that I labeled on each door and folded it up and taped it face down into the recessed hole that the hinges go, so that once I paint it, I can pull the tape back out and see where the door goes. Okay, all of the hardware has been removed, and now tomorrow I'm gonna go see if I can find some pantry doors that are the right size and start cleaning and sanding. So one of the reasons I'm really excited about this kitchen makeover is because I've actually been enjoying spending a lot of time in here. I've been focusing on my nutrition and my health a lot more. So I've also been just trying to build and stack healthy habits. And one of the really simple ways I've been doing that is by incorporating the Live It Up Super Greens into my morning routine. So I'd like to give a special thank you to Live It Up for sponsoring today's video. This one little healthy habit has been a super impactful trigger to start the rest of my day so that I continue on my healthy habits. I'm focusing more on walking, on hydration, on eating nutritious meals, and this basically just is a trigger that sets the tone for the rest of the day and puts me in the right mindset to stay on track. Super Greens is made with over 20 organic vegetables, probiotics, and digestive enzymes to help support your digestive health, immune system, and energy. It's dairy-free, gluten-free, and sugar-free, but it still has a nice subtle sweet taste to it that's super enjoyable. And it's not gritty or grassy tasting like other greens can be. For 15% off your Super Greens, free shipping, and a 30-day money-back guarantee, use discount code ABBY15 at checkout. So it turns out I had a little bit of a blonde moment yesterday, and thankfully Habitat for Humanity was closed because it was a Monday. And I ended up coming home to just double check the measurements, and the pantry doors are the same in the hallway, and they actually are an inch shorter. They're 79 inches because it has to leave space for the track at the top. So that's why the pantry doors are an inch shorter than the actual door, and that threw me off. So hopefully they'll line up nicely. Let me show you this setup I got. So I'll give you a closer look at this hanger setup later in the video, but essentially I'm going to drill a pilot hole in the bottom of the bottom cabinets and the top of the top cabinets so that we don't see the hole. If you've ever wondered if it's actually important to prep before painting, I'm going to show you why. These are the samples I did on unclean, unsanded, unprimed cabinets. And this is just TSP I'm cleaning with. Literally just wipes right off. Every paint brand, actually, even the all-in-one furniture paints are just wiping right off because I didn't clean and sand properly. Yep, so make sure you prep your cabinets. These are actually really nicely made solid oak cabinets. If these drawers were made of particle board, I would not be saturating them in water like this. But I don't have to be as careful because these are solid. I know that some people probably think that it's overkill to take literally all the hardware off, but I will die on this hill that it is easier to just take things apart and put them back together. Because for me to unscrew these few hinges versus tape them all off to not get the paint on them, it's gonna take less time for me to unscrew it. So just do things the right way. These cabinets had a ton of grease buildup that I wasn't able to get off with the TSP cleaner alone, so I did end up coming in with a lower grit sandpaper first, around 80 grit, and then I worked my way up to 220 grit for a smooth finish. If your cabinets are already free of grease, you can just go ahead and lightly scuff sand everything with 220 grit. The goal here is to just rough it up a little bit to give something for the primer and paint to adhere to. For the primer, I decided to go with Kills 3 because it's one of my favorite primers for furniture. It does a really good job at stain blocking any tannins that might bleed through the wood, and it's water-based, so it's a lot easier to clean up, and I know that it's going to work well with my water-based enamel paint. I decided to brush and roll the cabinet boxes inside of the house so that I didn't get overspray everywhere, and it would just be a lot of taping off and prep work for not that big of a kitchen. If you use a high quality zebra brush and a quarter nap fine finish roller, you can still achieve a really nice smooth finish. The trick to avoid any roller flashing is to make sure that your last coat of paint is on really nice and thick and you overlap your roller by 50%, not like I'm doing here with the primer. I was trying to make a little bit go a long way here. So I decided to brush the primer onto the cabinets only because the oak has some really dense wood grain and I want to make sure I kind of fill it in before I go and spray. I'm worried that the sprayer won't get the primer into the wood grain. And primer is really annoying to clean out of a paint sprayer. I just don't have that many cabinets, so I'm just going to paint the primer by hand and then spray the rest. Kind of therapeutic anyways. Now I'm about to go live on TikTok for the first time ever. I feel like 2 people are gonna join. I literally haven't told anybody. I just decided on a whim, like this is kind of satisfying. Maybe somebody else will find it satisfying. So after doing a ton of paint color swatches, I actually decided to go with Wise Owl 1 Hour Enamel Paint instead of the Sherwin-Williams Emerald Urethane for my cabinets. The color I'm using is called Safari Jacket and it's a muted khaki with green undertones. Very, very similar to the Sherwin-Williams Avenue Tan that I had sampled. A special thank you to my friend Jacqueline at Refinished by Friday for getting this paint over to me super quick. Her and her husband have been professionally refinishing furniture for around over 8 years, putting out around 20 pieces of furniture a week. So the fact that she recommended this paint to me really sold me on using it for my cabinets. It's more expensive than the Sherwin-Williams Emerald Urethane. However, it has a 2-hour recoat time instead of a 4-hour recoat time. And this paint is up to 90% cured within only 4 hours, which means I'm able to get my kitchen back into commission really fast. And the other huge benefit to this paint is that it dries to the touch within an hour, so that whenever I go to flip my interior doors and pantry doors, it doesn't end up sticking on the other side. Jacqueline has a bunch more great insights into the refinishing business for anybody looking to get into it. She was nice enough to sit down with me in an interview that'll be coming out in my next video. Today is spray day. I went ahead and brushed and rolled all of the cabinet bases in the house because it's a lot less prep work. But we're gonna spray all of the doors because it's gonna be a lot faster so that both sides can dry at the same time. I've got a little setup going on with some old coat hangers that my mom had. And then I screwed a little hook into the bottom of the drawer faces. To my surprise, refinishing these kitchen cabinets actually wasn't nearly as difficult as people make it out to be or as I expected. Just like furniture painting, it really just comes down to the prep work and labeling everything to set yourself up for success. Overall, I have to say I'm pretty happy with the color of the kitchen that I chose. I think it looks a lot better in here already. I am just having a little bit of a hard time visualizing it because it's not fully decorated yet. I don't have window treatments up yet. So I think as soon as I get these curtains and blinds up and this cupboard down here, that it's really gonna start coming together. And the one other thing that I am thinking is that I don't love this corner over here. It seems kind of like a dark block and there's nothing breaking up the color. So I actually am contemplating just taking this door completely off of the hinges and painting that trim back to white, because the door has already been kind of annoying me in the way of the pantry doors. That's not ideal. And I really just don't see the purpose of having a door here. So I think I might just take it off. The next couple videos, I think that this living area is really gonna be coming together.